Welcome back, my Greek learners. I'm your teacher Dimitris, and today we're going to learn about time in Greek. I will teach you how to read the 24-hour clock, ask what the time is, and also how to respond to that question too. Apart from a few quirks, talking about time in Greek is actually fairly simple. Of course, it's the Greek language we're talking about here, so there has to be multiple ways to say one thing. Alright? Πάμε να δούμε. Τι ώρα είναι? First of all, we have to see how to ask, what time is it? We can do that with this phrase right here. Τι ώρα είναι? Which very literally translates to, what time is it? The word τι means what. The word ώρα means hour or time. And είναι means is it? Τι ώρα είναι. Now that we know the question, let's see how we can read different times. For now, I will use 5 o'clock paired with different kinds of minutes so we can see how they are read. First up, we have 5:10. In Greek, we would say 5 και 10, which literally translates to 5 and 10. This format we just said you can use for every single time there is. For example, let's take 7:05. In Greek, that would be 7 και 5, which once again literally translates to 7 and 5. In Greek, we always want to say the hour first, and then the minutes. The majority of the time we use και in between to connect the hour and the minutes. 7 και 5. Also, if you're struggling with the numbers or simply don't know them, I have a video on them right here, which I will also link in the description too, since also the numbers are the same as the hours from 1 to 12. Now let's take a look at a few alternative ways to read the time. Here we have 4 times. 5:15, 5:30, 5:40, and 5:45. These 4 numbers can be read in a different way. 5:15 can also be read as 5 και τέταρτο, which means 5 and a quarter. 5:30 can also be read as 5 και μισή, which means 5 and a half. Now we move on to a more tricky part. When you move to the other half of the hour, that's when we need to change our format. For example, 5:40, we would read it as 6 παρά 20, which roughly means it's 20 minutes before 6. Yes, this is the confusing part when talking about time in Greek. When you're talking about the second half of the hour in Greek, you have to start by saying the next hour and basically how minutes are remaining until you hit the next hour. So if, for example, is 5:40 as we saw before, you have to say 6 instead of 5, and instead of και, we will use the word παρά. And then how many minutes are remaining until we get to 6. So in this case, it's 20. So the whole thing will be 6 παρά 20. Let's see another example of this. 5:50 or 5 και 50. We would read that as 6 παρά 10. So 10 minutes until 6. This, of course, is done the same way with every number in Greek. I'm just using 5 o'clock here for more consistency. Last thing I need to mention here is the specific time 5:45. Another way we can read it is 6 παρά τέταρτο, meaning a quarter before 6. Now, a very important thing here is that you don't actually have to use the system with παρά, as we explained before. You can actually say 5:40 and you can read that as 5 και 40, which literally means 5 and 40, which is the original way we talked about. It is not incorrect to just simply say pede και 40. But for us Greeks, it's very, very common that we say 6 παρά 20. Well, we do often use the more complicated way here. Having finished with times, let's take a look on how to respond when someone asks you what time it is. There are a few options to pick. One is η ώρα είναι 5. The time is 5. Είναι 5. It is 5. Or just 5. 5. The most common option is the second one. Είναι 5. And that, my learners, is how we talk about the time in Greek. Thank you so much. I hope this short video helped you understand how time in Greek works. Thank you so much again, and I will see you on the next one. Gεια σας.